Good morning. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone ever notice your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Oh, how could anyone ever tell you you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Good morning, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you so much to Kev Choice and Omega Ray for their gifts of music. So I am Maureen French. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a licensed practitioner here at Oakland Center, and I'm also the board president. And I'd like to welcome you to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, where we teach spiritual principles and practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all of life. A special welcome to those of you who are joining us for the very first time. We are so glad you are here in the sanctuary with us. Please raise your hand and someone will bring you a welcome packet. If you're here for the first time, go ahead and raise your hand. Yay, welcome. I'll make sure to get you packets. All right. Also, a big welcome to everyone who is joining us on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Go ahead and give them a wave. Make sure that you sign up for our weekly newsletter so you can learn all about the fun things happening here at Oakland Center. We respectfully acknowledge that here in the Bay Area, we gather on the traditional land of the indigenous Ohlone people. We honor with gratitude the land itself, and the people who have stewarded these lands for countless generations. Now let's take a moment to bless our children wherever they are. We bless all the children in our community and the world. We love you. We see you. We know the truth of who you are. You are unique expressions of God, and we are grateful to have you in our lives, and so it is. I would now like to welcome Andrew Park up to the pulpit to talk about this month's nonprofit partner, Tribe.
Good morning and blessings. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, having us, for your support, for your prayers. My name is Andrew Park. I am the Executive Director of Tribe. I've also brought young Jonathan and Salvador, a couple of our youth interns, currently 10th graders at Arise High School. So it's also great to see Kev Choice doing his thing. I've been seeing him since high school, so 30 plus years. We won't say that part. Yeah, so it's a real blessing to be here with you. Yes, I'm the Executive Director of Tribe. It's pronounced Tribe, and you can go ahead to the first slide. Our mission is to break cycles of suffering through the power of beloved community. And I know that might hit a little bit differently for a nonprofit. It sounds almost spiritual. It is a very spiritual work. Our vision is a peaceful and vibrant East Oakland where families can create positive cycles of peace, love, and belonging to last generations. Some of the pictures that you can see really speak to our values that we have, is that we really focus on the village, that it's not an individual person or individual mindset, but it's really to build these tribes, the village, and that takes a long, deep, it's a different type of work rather than, as you can often get cornered in as a nonprofit, to become a service organization. How many billable hours, fulfilling contracts and deliverables, and it's harder to get funding when you talk about the village. It's easier when you start talking about youth, but we don't see youth, Jonathan and Sal, as individuals just by themselves. We see that they are part of family units, households, often not traditional. And so we seek within our nonprofit to really wrap our arms around whole household units, because they have the power of reaching their apartment complexes, the blocks, the whole communities and neighborhoods. And so we start with youth, but it's a strategy, if you will, to be able to reach parents, sisters, aunties, in that type of way. And the organization has to be prepared in order to serve. And so often we can't scale up to reach thousands of youth, even though we have. It's been 15 years. It's been a long time coming, but we really believe in just the slow work. And as we get into the work, another one of our values is service, that everyone can be special, and you are special not because you have a certain talent, and that may make you special, but we believe everyone is special because you can serve somebody else. And it's not just getting in and serving someone else and being special, but it also helps in your own healing, your own therapy. And then you can see the theme. We also really value being local, place-based. There's a push for nonprofits to scale up, to get scalable in order to get the funding. And we just found that instead of getting bigger and coming up with language that reaches more people, we found in working in small spaces to reach deeply those who are working with and their household family units, and believing that they are the blueprint to reach the next person. So we don't have to reach everybody. We just have to reach those who are around us within our sphere in a deep way so that they can be the blueprint to reach the next person. And in that way, we believe, and this is our last value, that healing happens. Healing is a weird thing to present to government agencies, even though it's become really a topic of conversation, but they term it wellness, in the public health sphere, right? But it's all about healing. How are you going to heal from that traumatic thing that you experienced, as a woman getting this, or how are you going to, as a young child, seeing or as violence, or having your such and such and seeing that with your, how do you heal a broken heart? And some of the things I've mentioned helps to that, but we really want to name that because we believe that that is our way forward, not only in Oakland, but just as a general people, as America goes through the reckoning that we are going through. We just really need to be about our healing, and that happens within community, within some of these other things. So I'm sorry, I wasn't watching my time, so, but it's probably been 5 minutes. I just really want to thank however the invitation came about, maybe through Kev or someone else who's been connected to us, but you can hear more about what we do, our services, like the food distributions, the early childhood, our youth mentorship program, our large events. Lastly, how you can help. Please pray for us, especially the youth, the children. I think that helps us enter prayer. It's not just as we pray for our children. We also are on a big ending human trafficking campaign, and we could really use your prayers as a lot of folks are on the front lines, both doing the outreach as well as the organizing with the city and the county to be able to bring the resources needed to end that scourge. And then check out our website, oaklandtribe.org. And lastly, if you'd like to come out and volunteer, it's all through the website too as well. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and for all the work that you're doing at Tribe. Really good work. So I have a couple announcements. From December 10th through December 17th, we will have 90-minute services, and there will be food after Sunday service on December 17th. Also, please visit our website at oaklandcsl.org for more details about holiday and year-end activities happening at our center. And then, of course, don't forget that there's the craft fair today after service. There's all sorts of goodies out there for you to experience. Be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News, by clicking the I'm New button. Please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you'll only find by liking and subscribing to Oakland Center. And now, please, if you're willing, stand as we recite our vision and mission statement. The vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are a welcoming and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. And so it is. And now I will invite Reverend Catherine Sachs.
Good morning, I'm Reverend Catherine Sachs, and I'm your pulpit assistant for the day. It's nice to see all of you. We have two really powerful readings this morning. The first one is by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. You are surrounded by a dynamic force, a great surge of living power. You are immersed in and saturated with the vital essence of life. Its presence permeates everything, binding all together in one complete whole. And our second reading is from John Cappett's Zinn. You might want to just close your eyes and hear this and let it really get into you. You are whole, and also part of larger and larger circles of wholeness you may not even know about. You are never alone, and you already belong. You belong to humanity. You belong to life. You belong to this moment, this breath. And so with that breath, I invite us to belong to each other in the oneness that is the sacred source of all that is. This morning, this time, we come together in community and village to recognize our divinity, to celebrate our sacredness, and to see the Christ consciousness in each other. And we do this with prayer, with praise, with music and song, with our attentive and open listening to words of wisdom and love that our Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman offers today as this beautiful channel and conduit of the insight and wisdom of the one mind. I bless our service. I bless every place around the world in this plane of being and all planes of being where people or beings come together to recognize the truth of wholeness, whether it be a church, a center, an ashram, a temple, a sweat lodge, a campfire, a cup of coffee shared quietly with a friend. All is one. And this morning, as we see that and be that, what I claim and know is that as we invoke, evoke, and feel the presence of God, this service provides gifts, nuggets of gold, insights, ahas, something that hits and lands in the heart and opens the soul and gladdens our eyes. I'm so grateful to know that this is true. I accept it as done. And if this resonates with you, please join me by sealing the pact with God by saying, "And so it is." Amen.
If we can learn what it means to really love ourselves, then we can learn to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And we can live in harmony, see ourselves as a family. This is my prayer for humanity. That we respect our women and protect our girls, that they feel safe in every corner of the world, that we can live in harmony, see ourselves as a family. This is my prayer for humanity. Oh. That every man could be a father to someone by loving every boy as if he were his only son. That we can live in harmony, see ourselves as a family. This is my prayer. This is my prayer for humanity. That we know that nobody really wins the war, and every leader knows what power is really for. That we can live in harmony, see ourselves as a family. This is our prayer. This is our prayer, yeah, for humanity. that every man, woman, boy, and girl will hear these words all across the world. That every man, woman, boy, and girl will hear these words all across the world. This is my prayer for humanity. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. For humanity. Thank you. I'd like to ask for just a moment of silence for all the lives lost and the lives changed in this conflict between Israel and Palestine. Thank you.
I love that our community asks for what they need. Thank you, Omega, for doing that. Let's give it up for Omega Ray and our maestro, Kev Choice. I appreciate your song choice this morning. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. I'd like to welcome you this first Sunday in December. You know, we're at the end of the year, like it or not. You better get with it. I'm Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman, and I welcome you to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. I use she, her, they, them, because God is all of that. And so welcome to this service. I am glad to be in community with you this day. Yes? Yes. Yes. And so just a couple things that I want to say in acknowledgement. First of all, I just learned that today is the last day that our own Jimmy Tuzel will be here in our community. And Jimmy has been with us as our senior sound technician for some years, and he's busy in the world going to do his own thing. So if you would oblige me, if you turn your attention to the sound booth, and if you extend your hands, hang on, I'm not done. Hold the applause. We're not done yet. Hold the applause. Extend your hands to Jimmy and repeat after me. Jimmy, we love you. Jimmy, we love you. We see you. We see you. We know who you are. We know who you are. And we bless you on your journey. And we bless you on your journey. Thank you for your service to OCSL. Thank you for your service to OCSL. Now you can clap. Thank you so much for participating in that. And I'd like to thank our own beloved Nancy Hester, who let me know that she's been coming to this community for a while, went away, came back as a new member this year, and she said, I am good at doing flowers, and I'd like to do some flowers for OCSL. So I don't know how many of you saw that beautiful pumpkin arrangement that she did, right? Well, she said, I have more. So I want to let us acknowledge Nancy Hester in this beautiful holiday arrangement. She's right there. And this is her blessing to you. She says, this arrangement is from my heart to yours. May this holiday season bring you much love, peace of mind, and joyful family gatherings. How lovely. Thank you so much. And the last of my public service announcements, and then I promise I'll go into the talk, is we've opened the Labyrinth back there. If you have not seen it, it's an open, sacred space that is beautiful, that you can walk in sacred contemplation. And we have it open, at least for the month of December. I want to try it. This is our winter solstice time. This is a holy holiday time. This is the time of the season changing. This is the winter time where we go into dormancy and where, we go into gestation, and it's an important time. So Spirit called me to do that. And this is hot off the press. I have a dear friend, Reverend Alice D. Martin, who is going to come on December 17th. After our service, we have food service, as Maureen told you, afterwards at 1:15, 1:30. We will do a labyrinth ritual and blessing and workshop for about 60 to 90 minutes. All are welcome, love offering basis. So December 17th, I just want you to know that. That's a great thing. Okay, I like for us to start our time together by collecting our breath and doing a community breath together, because it helps us somehow, in my spirit, it helps us to clear out so that we collectively, as in community consciousness, can come together. So, right where you are, exhale your breath. And now breathe in intentionally, deeply, fully filling your lungs, and hold it at the top. Let it out with a sigh. Twice more, breathing in deeply. Hold it. Let it out with a sigh. And now a bigger breath than before. And hold it. And now a bigger sigh. And simply allow your breath to come in and out easily. It's the gift of life, the giving and receiving, the law of circulation and abundance. And we give thanks that we can do this together. We follow the Centers for Spiritual Living global themes. And we're at the last one of the year, and let me just say, I've been here a full year with you now, and I've had a lovely time getting into the various topics and see what Spirit downloads for me. So our theme for this year is Living Out Loud. And the theme for the month is Living as Wholeness. Our theme for today is embracing wholeness. Embracing wholeness. I love these talks because they work me over, and I intend to work you a little bit too, hopefully, that you can take into your week. The qualities of Spirit that I'm talking about today are presence. I am, as in the divine I am. Worthiness, acceptance, and of course, wholeness. And I like to start with 3 affirmations. And this is our opportunity to declare to the universe that this is who I am and what I believe and what I want. I believe in you, and I know you believe in me, and therefore I accept this thing that I am stating. So if you are willing, don't just repeat it after me. I want you to declare it if you're willing. Yes? Okay, here we go. I live as wholeness, fullness, and victory. I am a manifestation of God's abundance. I embrace all of life as a part of my wholeness. Beautiful. Just breathe that in, and we let that be. I like to turn to the dictionary just out of curiosity to see how what I think about certain words compares with what somebody else thinks. Neither here nor there, because I make up my own stuff. But I like to compare anyway. And here's what the dictionary says about wholeness, is that it's soundness, health, or well-being in body, mind, spirit, and soul. The state or condition of being not broken, injured, or damaged. Intact condition. The state of not being broken, injured, or damaged. That's what wholeness, they say, is. And I happen to agree with that. And I'll add a little bit more myself. Here's what Eric Butterworth says in his book, The Creative Life. You are a perfect idea in the mind, in the infinite mind. You are whole now. This wholeness is the only way the universe knows you. So that state of being broken or injured or not intact by what he just said is our idea, not God's idea. It's our idea if we feel like we are less than whole or that we're not claiming our full wholeness. So let me break this down. Remember the month, it's living as wholeness is the theme for the month. The theme for the week is embracing wholeness. So let's talk about living as wholeness. Living as wholeness means for me that it's a continual operation from the place of feeling perfection and fullness, from a place of knowing that this is the truth. When you can live as wholeness, that's what I believe you are experiencing. And in the science of mind, we believe that God is, therefore I am. And if we believe that, then we can experience wholeness. And that has to mean even in those times of feeling less than whole. Stay with me here. It has to be all of it. If we're living as wholeness, we have to be able to operate from that place. This is our foundation if we're living as wholeness that is incorporated into everything that we think, say, or do. Ernest Holmes, our founder, says in his book, Spiritual Awareness, every man, he used man a lot, so we're going to say every person represents an individualization of universal wholeness. Every person. And I would add place and thing. The love, peace, joy, and freedom of spirit, the power of the Spirit expresses through every atom of our being now, this very moment. This is what we believe in our science of mind philosophy. And our spiritual practices and principles help us to get back to this place when we've gone awry. When we are embracing wholeness is a little different in my mind, because it is those times perhaps that we've strayed and we feel like we're less than whole, that we have to reach out to embrace wholeness, to remind ourselves to live as wholeness. If we're living as wholeness, we're already doing that. When we embrace wholeness, we're bringing it back to ourselves. We're remembering. We just came off last month of talking about the mundane, the profane, and the sacred. And this embracing wholeness reminds me of that space of the mundane that I told you was more from a place of the humanness, our humanness in that ordinary space of the mundane, where we get to change our minds. We can stay stuck as long as we want to. Life can be as boring as we allow it to be. And if we change our mind, then that's where we welcome in joy. That's where we can experience the happiness. So this place of embracing wholeness to me feels like that space of the mundane, because we get into those broken places so often and so quickly in this world of chaos and war and all this stuff that we go through on this human plane. It's so easy to be taken off our game to forget our foundation, which is what? That space of wholeness. So we have to embrace it and come back. No, come back. If you have to go call a friend or a prayer partner, if you have to go pull a book off your shelf to remind you, if you have to hear a song that's being sung, or if you have to take a walk out in nature, go hug a tree. Whatever it is, go volunteer at Tribe, and talk to the youth. Whatever it is, to remind you of your wholeness. That is what we need to do to bring it back into ourselves. Embracing wholeness. It's not necessarily easy to embrace wholeness or to live in wholeness, but nobody said this experience in humanness is going to be easy. Nobody told you that. Or if they did, well, I don't know. And we get to do that. I just love that. Once several weeks ago, Miss Grady Nobles, one of our dear elders in community, we had a conversation at our Wednesday night service, and that was the service. And she said, you know, I say my Thanksgiving and my this and that and the other, and I heard her saying by rote or whatever it is, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And then she reminded herself, no, I get to do this. Isn't it a matter of perspective? So that's why I repeat it. We get to do these things. We get to change our perspective. We have volition. We have choice. We can do these things. So our world is a world of dichotomies. It's the haves and the have-nots a lot of time. A lot of time people will, I think one of your songs, Omega, said that people will tell you these things. You know how people will tell you how either awful you are, and some might tell you how great you are. But what I'm here to tell you is the state of wholeness is you have to know it for yourself. Your practitioner, your spiritual practitioner can tell you up one side and down the other how whole you are, how complete you are, and the child of God that you are, but until you experience it for yourself and know it for yourself, it's simply a reminder and an opportunity for you to step into that. That's what we're here to do, is remind each other of who we are and whose we are. And if we allow ourselves, we can get caught up in people doing the opposite. They will tell you all day long that you're not this, that, or the other. You can't play over here because you're this, or you believe like that, or you don't believe like this or that. Well, who are you to tell me that? I might not be able to come play over there, but that's okay because I can go over there and start my own thing. But we have to have our own comfort to be able to do that, don't we? And instead, a lot of times what we end up doing is what? We believe that. We believe what they say and we allow it to diminish us. That's why Marianne Williamson said in her famous writing, it's like, you know, don't allow people to play small, you know, that you play small because other people are uncomfortable with your greatness. We have to stand up into ourselves. We have to stand up into our wholeness. I am calling you into your wholeness today. And you know what? I want you to call me into mine. That's what community does for one another, is to do that. So these haves and these have-nots and this and that and the other, oh my goodness, it's just awful. And we walk around judging people. I do it myself. We have to catch ourselves doing that. We have to catch ourselves judging people, and even if we don't say it to them, our actions are almost, our thoughts are almost as worse than the actions. Do we go around blessing people into their wholeness? Do we drive around as we see people and say, oh yes, you're in wholeness, oh yes, you're in wholeness? No, instead we drive around and when we see that person, what do we say? Oh, they're deranged, or oh, what's wrong with them? They're dirty, or oh, they're this or that or the other. That's why we have the war going on now that we have. Because people feel like they're up here and we're down here and oh my goodness, you're just not worthy of being with me. And I need to be above you and you're a peon down there. And if we allow ourselves, we submit to that kind of thinking. Don't do it. That's what I'm here to tell you, is do not do it. Wholeness is a divine quality of God. I remember even before ministerial school, I've been in this philosophy a long time. In the basic foundation training, what I learned, I don't know if some of y'all who have been in class have learned, is that wholeness is the ultimate quality of God. Like everything dovetails into wholeness. Well, I could say the same about love, right? Love is the divine equalizer, sure. But the way I was taught and trained is it all boils down to wholeness, because that's what spirit is. So do we embrace that? Do we really believe that? You know, and when we think of the word wholeness, what is the root word? Whole. Whole means all of it. And what's the other part is parts of it. So either it's whole, all of it, or it's parts of it, right? And when we think of God or spirit or whatever you want to call it, the divine essence is the whole. We are a part of that whole. We're not all that it is, yet we are what it is. So if we believe and state that God is wholeness, we have to believe that we are wholeness too. I'm belaboring this because it's the topic, but also because I want it to sink into your consciousness and hit you back when, not hit you really, but you know what I mean, when you're having one of those moments where you're just melting because you feel unworthy, or you're not responding in a way from your power. I want you to remember at some point that I'm tapping on your shoulder saying, yes, you are. Oh, yeah, Rev said, what did she say? You know, if you don't remember, call somebody. Or go online, we have the recordings. Go watch this again so you can remember that I'm tapping you on the shoulder and calling you out into your wholeness. And I want you to do that with me too. You know, we think of wholeness, the whole of it, that's the macro. You think of the micro, that's the inside part. So wholeness shows up in a lot of ways. The macro, the micro, the whole, the parts. Remember that saying in mathematics, I believe it is, that the sum is not greater than the, I have it written here somewhere, and I'm totally lost. It's like how does it go? It's not greater. There you go. I have that written in there somewhere, but I just drew a blank. The whole is not greater than the sum of its parts. It is greater than the sum of its parts. Right, that's what I just said about God, right? The whole, even Rev. Okay, get it together, Rev. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and that's us. Then you think of the circle. You think of concentric circles. You know, those circles that there's a circle and then there's a circle behind it and a circle behind it and it can continue on. All of this is talking about wholeness. That's what John Kabat-Zinn said in the reading that Rev. Catherine read to you. You are whole and also part of larger and larger circles of wholeness you may not even know about. That's the divine and infinite spectrum, isn't it? You are never alone. You already belong. You belong to humanity. You belong to life. You belong to this moment, this breath. Can't nobody tell you that you don't belong. It doesn't matter if they do say it. Pay attention to what you know is true. When I was preparing this, I was thinking about Moses in the Bible. Talks about the burning bush. That's where the burning bush, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He experienced it. But the burning bush said what? Here I am. I am the I am. That's what we believe, I am. That's why we have to be careful about what we put behind I am. I am abundance. I am sick. I am in lack, limitation. I am abundance. You see the difference? Because you're naming and claiming it. So we have to be careful with what we say. And so then it was funny because I heard this thing while I was preparing this that says, there is no hole in the hole. You know, the hole in the ground that you want to avoid, you don't want to step in. There's no hole in hole because it's solid, it's complete. The whole is God and all there is. And then I thought about that beautiful wreath that's on my door in the back and my office door that Nancy gifted me last week. And then I thought, well, there's a hole in that. In the center of it, you know, in the circle, there's a hole in there. Well, you can think of it as a hole or you can think of it as a center in a space. But I just thought that was kind of funny about there's no hole in the whole. Let's talk about that center space, though. Because whatever is in the center of that circle is God. It's surrounded by this infinite knowing. It doesn't start, it doesn't stop, it's forever. So whatever's in the middle of the quality of God, whether it's wholeness, whether it's love, whether it's truth, whatever it is in there. It's contained in there. That is what God is. peace, joy, love, well-being, all the goodness and greatness of spirit, whatever else. Name some other things. What's the whole, what else is in God that you want? Wisdom, huh? Balance? Joy. Beauty, power. Huh? Guidance? Kindness. Compassion. Peace, order. Mercy. Justice. Huh? Harmony and love, I heard. What about grace? You know, these are all the qualities of God. So when I talk about the continuum in the sky that I always draw, where, you know, you might have grace over here and you might have something totally opposite over here, what you know is that you want balance and that you do what you need to do to bring it in the middle. This is the wholeness of God. And, you know, I had said this earlier that we don't typically walk around affirming others' wholeness necessarily, but we can start. Wouldn't that be great? Start a movement. You driving down the street? Yep, bing. I anoint you with wholeness. Bing, you're whole, perfect, and complete. Isn't that great? Let's do that. You know, I think that because we're trained otherwise. Isn't it awful? We're trained toward lack and limitation through our family system, our society, or whatever. So we need to start a movement that is other than that, that is different than that, that heals this healing, that broken part of society that focuses on flaws and find us fine, fit, and fabulous instead. I have a friend who, as an example, has connections to the supreme and the supernatural in a way that not everyone does necessarily. She has connections to the greater beings, and you know, and they come through. And there's lots of people that have that. And there are people that judge someone who has gifts like that. They judge them negatively because they don't understand it. And what we don't understand, sometimes we have to marginalize. Maybe we're envious of it. Maybe it's unintentional. And she has had to kind of struggle through her own fears and her own inhibitions, but also be estranged by other people. Who's to say that she's not just as whole as anybody else just because her gifts show up in a different way? Not all of us can play the piano like Kev does. I double dare you to come up here and show me that. He has his gifts. Omega has her gifts in song, whatever our gifts are. So let's be aware of what our gifts are and not marginalize people that we don't understand their gifts. The soon-to-be Reverend Teresa Gardner, who is here today and was doing our meditation, was telling me the other day when we were talking that in her ministry, she wants to focus on, and what her passion is wholeness and helping people to discover their wholeness. Similar to me, and my passion is about authenticity. Why? It's because it brings us closer to wholeness. It brings us closer to who we are and why we are. We're already whole, just as we are. That's the point. You don't have to go lose weight, gain weight, do whatever it is you need to do to change up what it is about yourself that you don't like. You have to realize that you're whole just like you are, whether it's sagging and drooping or whatever it is. Love yourself like you are, or else you're not loving God fully. That's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? And remember, it's the journey and not the destination. So in other words, our wholeness is about the experiences that we have. And even if we have a tough experience, how we handle it is what's important. To come back to our wholeness. I remember one time, I was rushing to get somewhere and then all of a sudden I was really stressed about it. All of a sudden I stopped in my tracks and I said, you know what? When I get there, I'll be there. That just sounded so curious to me, but it was the truth. I was the one stressing myself. Now, sure, I might have to say something to somebody. That doesn't mean that you don't have to adjust something. But when you get there, you'll be there. So here's the questions that I'm going to pose to you rhetorically. You don't have to answer it, but I do want you to think about it. Do we feel worthy to claim God's wholeness as our own? For some people, it's about worthiness. Can we allow ourselves to feel whole in the midst of feeling broken? I'm saying both and. Do both. Can we allow ourselves to realize that the sense of brokenness brings us into fuller realization of our wholeness? Can you imagine that? That the brokenness that you feel and that thing that you abhor about yourself is what is bringing you to the realization of your own wholeness. Wholeness is an inside journey. It's inside, as I mentioned. You have to realize it for yourself, and we can let people tell ourselves about wholeness, but until you feel it, people are just saying blah, 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 blah. So I'd like for you to close your eyes for a moment, if you're willing, or take a soft gaze at our beautiful stained glass window. Just take a moment within yourself and feel into what wholeness means inside of you. What does it look like and feel like, taste like, act like within you? Now gently allow any spaces of feeling unbroken or unworthy or judged or unaccepted within you to just softly enter that space of wholeness. And allow both of them to live together within you. You can allow those broken places to be absorbed by the wholeness. Thank you for that. For in God, there's nothing but wholeness. Any sense of anything else is really only temporary if we believe what we believe. And allow this information about brokenness, allow it to be transformed, allow it to be information for your healing. Allow it to surface so that you can apply your spiritual principles and practices. And then you can allow it to radiate out. Like that feeling that you had, even though we did it briefly, just let it radiate out into the room. Let it spill over. So I ask, beloveds, what will it take for you to feel your wholeness as much as possible, as often as possible? And how do we convince ourselves to release anything other than wholeness? How can we become aware of those times and spaces where we feel less than whole? Sometimes we know, but sometimes we don't. That's subconscious stuff that we have to become aware of. That self-talk, you know, that self-talk sometimes that says, you can't do this. You're not good enough. Those are the broken places that I'm talking about. Those are the things that are neutralizing your wholeness. But it can't. That's the point. It can't neutralize it, because if you're a child of God, then you're whole anyway. You just have to realize it. That's the funny thing about this. So this is an opportunity for maybe this week for you to do some mirror work. To look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, look yourself in the eyes and say, are there any areas that I don't feel whole? And then you can start to work on that. You can even get a mannequin or a teddy bear or a stuffed animal and sit it there and put some Post-its in those places that you don't feel whole. because it shows as a visual for you. It shows as a visual. What do you measure your wholeness by? What are the standards that tell you that you are whole? You know, our vision board party, our annual vision board party is coming up on January 20th. And I was thinking, you know, if you go to that, you can make yourself a wholeness board. Like, what is wholeness to you in whatever category? That would be lovely. I'm going to close on this. Anybody heard of the new streaming movie? I meant to look up where I saw it on. I don't remember, but it is streaming. American Symphony. Anybody heard of that? Anybody know who John Baptiste is? Okay. You should know him because he just won a boatload of Grammys. He was nominated for 11 Grammys. I think it was this year, and he walked away with 5 of them, and one of them was Album of the Year. And his music, he's only 30-something years old. He's brilliant. His music is about, when you listen to him, it's about the experience of life and bringing that into your music. So he did this, he was commissioned to do a symphony that he called the American Symphony. This is a documentary. Might be a little bit of a spoiler alert, but it really won't be spoiled. You should go check it out. And this was at Carnegie Hall. In his vision, it was so interesting to watch. Kev would appreciate this, a maestro putting together all the pieces of what that story would look like. Because he called it a story. I'm telling a story. And he envisioned that he wanted all walks of people in his symphony. He made sure that he had native and indigenous people. He had people of all dimensions, colors, sizes. He had people that were playing jazz and those that were playing classical and those that were playing country on purpose in an orchestra. So he was saying, in a symphony rather, and he was saying, I know this is non-traditional, but this is what I'm hearing basically. Even when he went to Juilliard, he was saying that when he walked in the door, you know, and when he started unfolding what his artistry was about, that it was like people hadn't done that before. And they were like, you can't do that. Well, they finally, I guess, must have got on board because he got out of Juilliard, and you see he's a Grammy winner and he's a beautiful artist. But that's what I'm saying. He did not let anything deter him from his wholeness. It didn't matter if people heard what he heard or not. They eventually came on board. This symphony was beautiful. But in the key point of his story is simultaneously to all that he's doing, all the glitz, the glam, the success, his wild success, his wife, Sulika, is suffering from leukemia. And the night that he was nominated for all those Grammys is when she started her cancer treatment. So they'd talk every day, and he'd go there as soon as he could, and whatever. And she was an inspiration in and of herself. Here's what Sulika said. You're meant to return from the hardest moments of your life, stronger and braver and more of a warrior for what you've been through. I don't want to have tough skin. I want to feel the things that are happening to me, the terrible things, the beautiful things. I want to be open to it all. Is that not wholeness? That's wholeness. They were doing the both and. There was a scene in there where he couldn't get out of bed, John, because he was so overwhelmed with all the stuff. And he had a therapist talking him through. But he went through that. And you wouldn't know it because you saw him the next day on stage and you just wouldn't know he was going through that. If he can go through that, we can go through whatever it is. Here's the quote I'm going to end on that he gives. He says, everybody's on our own journey. Didn't I tell you that? The journey is not the destination, but the journey. We're all moving towards our ultimate destination. Nothing can stop the power of God. And I say, to me, This is how we live as wholeness. This is it, people. So let us take this to prayer, shall we? As Teresa, soon to be Reverend Teresa Gardner, brings this box up, I invite the practitioners to surround the congregation. You two live streamers, if we have practitioners out there, feel free to stand. And if you can't stand, or that's okay too, just be in your chair. And those of you who are seated, please stand in your hearts. Stand open to wholeness. Stand open to prayer and to fulfillment and to healing and to love. So let us go inward into that sacred sanctuary, that place where the candle can never be snuffed, for the light of God is always within us, always. And we celebrate that light as we do this time of year in darkness, because you need the both, the darkness and the light, to appreciate each other. We need both. This is a moment of recognizing that holy divine presence is everywhere present always. As wholeness, as love, as peace, as joy, as clarity, as health and healing, and all those words that were shouted out earlier, and more than that. And because God is all of that, and because we are a part of that infinite spectrum of life as God, then we are that too. And so today I name and claim that we are able to tap into our wholeness and all of the God qualities within us in a way that we may have forgotten or that we never knew before. That the other stuff just moves over as that wholeness in God shines through from the inside out and just spreads across the world. Today here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, we open our hearts, minds, spirits, affairs into the truth, joining forces with the practitioner consciousness that we have, holding this word of truth, just as all the prayers in this box that Teresa holds those prayer requests are blessed. That whatever prayers are on your heart are blessed. That the moment of silence that Omega brought us to for all the folks who have lost lives, especially senselessly lost lives, period, but certainly in the midst of these times that we are in, that word is blessed and multiplied by us all being in this prayer of love. Whatever your prayer is on your heart today, lift it up into this vortex of fulfillment and wholeness. We give thanks for being able to bless our nonprofit partner today, Tribe, that serves families across this local Bay Area in beautiful ways, as our guest presenter shared with us the mighty, beautiful work that they are doing. We bless them and the youth that they serve, the families that they serve, the intention and the vision that they have for wholeness. And we bless our world. We bless our world in peace and in justice and equity. And we know, I declare, that God's word and God's manifestation is instantaneous, that it can stop just as quickly as it started, and that whatever catalysts are needed to cease fire or to release or whatever it is to bless is happening right now, whether it's illness that is being lifted, whether it's the wars that are being ceased, or whatever it may be. Somebody is houseless and finding home space or resources. Those who need jobs, finding jobs, whatever it is, whatever your prayer is, whatever the prayers of the world are, I know are being addressed here in the power of this truth. And I bless our ministry of prayer and all those for whom we are praying on this list that I am about to call the names of. And we declare in advance that whatever it is that they are seeking, that it is seeking them as well, that they are magnetized to their good, and whatever they need, God provides. I know this for Miss Lita De Seville and Miss Lupe Capenda. I bless Rena Baker. I bless our Doug Myers and Joe. Blessing Bobby Watterson. and Michaelia. And I bless those who have transitioned to the other side as we celebrate the life this Saturday of our own Christine Anderson, blessing her on the other side as ancestor now. We love you, Christine, and we bless you and your family here, knowing peace and comfort for them, just as we know for our own beloved Cheryl Archer and her family in the transition of her son, Justin. We lift up the Archer family right now in peace and comfort and love and well-being, divine guidance in whatever they need. Now is the time of this prayer where I fling wide open the doors for you, your voice to be added in here, and I invite you to say your own name and to utter those names of those on your prayer list, those people, places, things that you are praying for. Now is the time, beloveds, including you onliners. We hold this space for truth. We hold this space for fulfillment. Even as the names continue, we know divine right action and divine timing and divine fulfillment is happening now. So with gratitude and thanksgiving, we lift up this prayer into the vortex of love and law. We lift it up, we lift it down, we lift it around in all directions because we know it partners with us to do its part to bring it to fulfillment. So our role is to stand in joyous expectancy of this good, knowing that all things are possible in God. We let it be, and I invite you to close this prayer however you see fit. Whether it be, and so it is. Amen. Praise God. Ashe. Yes. Hallelujah. It is done. Blessed be. Thank you, practitioners. Thank you, those of us who participated in prayer. Thank you, live streamers. Thank you, everybody. Know that I love you.
Reverend Jerry here once again. First of all, I want to acknowledge this beautiful, beautiful service. Thank you, Reverend Sunshine Michelle, for just allowing the abundance of the universe to flow through us with this beautiful talk. As promised, I am here to share with you the results of our annual pledge program for 2024, the Brighter Horizons. So let's have a little bit of a drum roll. Beautiful. Thank you, Kev. This is so exciting because, you know, the abundance of the universe truly is ours. And I know there's more to come as we continue on through this month of December. But to support Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle and our Board of Trustees, having this number is very helpful for planning the budget, as we said. And we are welcoming more gifts for 2024. There are pledge cards everywhere, back of the seats, on the table as you go out the door. And we have fewer people right now pledging, but our pledges for 2023, we have 101. We have 66 this year. But the blessing in it so far, this isn't the end of it because I know there'll be more, but so far we have reached a goal of $180,000, which is about $15,000 difference for this year in 2023. Now, can we reach that and go beyond, above and beyond it? Absolutely, and I see that happening here. I know it's happening because I know we're all claiming abundance. We're claiming a more abundance in our lives. And as we give, as I say, we receive. So these cards are available throughout the end of the year and into the new year so that you can really think about your pledge, that you can really think about what is yours to give, so that we can go above and beyond our goal, above and beyond our pledges for this year in 2023. Very, very important. So the stars on the board represent everyone who's pledged. I still have stars, and I'll be available if you're turning your card in now. We will accept your cards. Now, there's something about abundance. I was talking to a colleague about abundance last night, and he said to me, "You should bring your chocolate basket." My chocolate basket comes to classes and events and activities here at Oakland Center. So the chocolate basket is at the door, so please help yourself on the way out. This is a form of abundance because as we giving monetarily, which is what we're asking for to support our spiritual community, but giving in a plethora of ways brings more to us. Absolutely. I trust that. I live in that divine flow, and I see it in my life out picturing over and over and over again, and I wish the same for you. So thank you for contributing, and thank you to those of you on live stream who are yet to contribute, and for anyone here today. I have a daily word reading I'd like to close with. So just settle in and be with these words. This is a reading that is, my abundance multiplies when I share my good. My most memorable experiences are those I have shared with others. Meals enjoyed with my dear ones nourish my soul as well as my body. Attending a concert or sporting event, watching a movie, pursuing hobbies. So many experiences become more pleasurable when I share them with people who have similar interests. Sharing my financial resources as well as my time and skills allows me to demonstrate my faith in abundance. I give thanks for the good that has flowed to me by passing it along. Taking part in service projects gives me a special joy when I work alongside other caring souls and see what our combined efforts can accomplish. And from Acts 4:32. Now, the whole group of those who believed were of one heart and soul, and no one claimed private ownership of any possessions, but everything they owned was held in common. And so it is for us as well. Now, moving into a very important time of our service for here and now, it's our daily giving. Conscious giving, thank you. I like to call it conscious giving. Some people call it tithing. I just love the word of conscious giving because it nourishes us. And these beautiful flowers, by the way, are a beautiful example of the givingness of spirit and how it shows up. So thank you for that. If you'll take your gift, I noticed there weren't as many pledge cards in the seat back, so I brought some extra ones up here by the giving baskets so that you can come up and have the ritual of placing the card in the basket. For those of you who are giving online. We also have amazing other ways to give. It's very, very easy here. If you go to our website, oaklandcsl.org, you go to the donate button. When you get to that donate button, there are many ways to give. Zelle, text to give, you can mail your gift. However you choose, your gifts are so appreciated. So let us join together in saying our giving affirmation, holding your gift to your heart. The joy of giving within me activates the grace of receiving with me, and so it is. So as the music, this blessed, beautiful gift of music, we receive and accept the abundance of it, and you may bring your gifts up. Thank you so much.
And if you know the words, please sing along. Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, to think that I should. Spirit told me that I had to be good. And I love 'cause I want to. Love 'cause I'm free. Blinded by the Spirit, yeah. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me, yeah. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon. Don't you know that it's upon me? Me, yeah, is upon me, yeah. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, don't need any pardoning, don't need any law. I wanna sing with all my heart that God is my all in all. I let go of my burdens. The loving God has made me free. Blinded by the Spirit, oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me, yeah. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me, yes it is, every way, every day. Spirit of God is upon me, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, thought it was my duty, thought it was my job. Somewhere I believed, yeah, that loving God would be hard. But loving God is wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. I thank God for my freedom. Don't you know that Spirit of God is upon me, yeah. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me, yeah. Oh, Spirit of God is upon you and me, and we can be free. Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, Spirit of God is upon me. Oh. Woo-hoo.
Time to bring it home. All right. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate everyone who has participated in this service today, making it what it is, including all of you sitting there and receiving the love that we are. Particularly our musicians, for Kev and Omega, love you. Love you, love you, love you, definitely. All the practitioners, all the people who contributed, Reverend Sunshine and her wisdom and her humor and her love. You know, and if those of you who have been visiting us for the first time, if you didn't get your packet, there's some on the table when you walk out, no problem. Yeah, and I want to remind you that we have all these wonderful people called practitioners here. And what we are as practitioners are prayer warriors. We love to pray, and we love to pray with and for you. So practitioners will be available immediately, right now, in the service, in the prayer room in the back. So don't take anything home that is heavy on your heart. Bring it to a practitioner. Get a 5-minute miracle, okay? And if there's something that you're happy to have and want more of, take it to a practitioner. That abundance will flow, right? And some practitioners also offer personal spiritual coaching and prayer sessions. And you can check who they are on the wall in the foyer when you go out to the social hall over there. And as always, you can request prayer through our ministry of prayer. Put an offering in the box back there. And you will have practitioners who pray for that request, that desire, that expression of God every day for 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you're going to get it. It's good stuff, okay? And that's about everything. Oh, heck yeah, I'll remind. Guess what? We're having a craft fair over in the social hall, and we've got lots and lots of merchandise and a lot of people over there who've been working very hard to set up and wait for you. Let's swamp them. It's a great place to get Christmas gifts for other people and for yourself. Yeah. So let's close with our affirmation, and please stand with me as we do this, if you'd like. Ready? I embrace wholeness in everything that I do, in mind, body, spirit, and affairs. I am a reflection of the wholeness of spirit, and so it is. Amen. See y'all over there.
Oh, use me. Oh, God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think that God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, well, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator and makes all things new. And God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you. Here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Happy Sunday. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.